Fox News alert, Trump says Iran and Israel have just agreed to a ceasefire, and he expects it to last forever. But it won't go into effect for 24 hours. He's going to let them each take one last shot at each other. J.D. Vance was just on with Brett.
This is a great thing. For Israel, think about this. They've accomplished an important military objective. They've helped us destroy the Iranian nuclear program. They've also destroyed the conventional missile capability of Iran that threatened the country of Israel. For the Iranians, I think this is a new opportunity to actually pursue the path of peace. As I said yesterday, what the Iranians have showed through their support of terror networks, through their now failed effort to build a nuclear weapon, is that they're just not very good at war. And I think the president really hit the reset button and said, look, let's actually produce long-term peace for the region. That's always been his goal. I actually think when we look back, we will say the 12-day war was an important reset moment for the entire region.
Reuters is also reporting that Iran has officially agreed to the terms of the ceasefire deal, just hours after they fired missiles at American military bases in Qatar and Iraq. Here's the launch. Watch. The president confirmed 14 Iranian rockets were fired, saying 13 were knocked down and one was set free because it was headed in a non-threatening direction. 47 also confirming there were no casualties and hardly any damage was done. Trump calls it a very weak response, but most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system. And there will be, hopefully, no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So Trump got a heads up about the Iranian attack because the Iranians didn't want American casualties. Our response would have been devastating. But the regime also had to do something to save face, especially so they can show the Iranian people that they're still in charge. So far, the mission's been flawless. No American casualties. The bombs hit their targets. No real escalation so far, and no mission creep yet. Trump gave the Iranians a deadline, and he gave peace a chance. But the president felt like the Ayatollah gave him the middle finger, figuratively, when he refused to meet him in Turkey for face-to-face talks. And that came with a price. When the clock struck midnight Friday, B-2 bombers took off on a 37-hour flight. But they were prepared. These stealth bombers have bathrooms, mini fridges, and microwaves.
These guys flew from Missouri. They didn't land a single time. They dropped 30,000-pound bombs on a target the size of a washing machine and then got back home safely without ever landing in the Middle East or ever stopping other than to briefly refuel. And, of course, they did that in the air. So it's really an incredible operation, a testament to the power of American military.
Operation Midnight Hammer has been in the works. Last week, Netanyahu asked the White House, how can we help? Trump said, clear the way for our bombers. The Israeli Air Force had a mission, eliminate as many Iranian air defense systems as possible. The Pentagon handed them a target list, and they went to work. The Iranians had no idea what was coming.
There was nobody speaking about this, any of the preparations. There was a complete lockdown, almost a blackout of information for the last few days. So that is a significant achievement because there were no leaks about the timing. If you looked at the moon schedule, you might have had a clue because it was a waning crescent and almost a new moon on the 25th. So it would have been very, very dark over Iran tonight.
Trump gave the final order on Marine One. Secretary Hegseth called him when he was leaving Bedminster Saturday and said, the B-2s are about to reach the point of no return. Are we a go? And the president said, it's a go. The administration was confident their intelligence was rock solid.
Are you saying there that the United States did not see intelligence that the Supreme Leader had ordered weaponization?
That's irrelevant. I see that question being asked in the media. That's an irrelevant question.
No,
they have
that is
everything
the
they need
key
to build
point
a weapon.
in U.S. intelligence assessments. You know that.
No, it's not.
Yes, it was.
No, it's
that
not.
The political decision had not been made.
I know that better than you know that, and I know that that's not the case.
But I'm asking you whether the order was given.
And the people who say that, it doesn't matter if the order was given. They have everything they need to build nuclear weapons. Why would you bury things in a mountain, 300 feet under the ground?
Right.
Why would you bury why do they have 60% enriched uranium? Why do they have a space program? Is Iran going to go to the moon? No.
47 flew back to Washington and oversaw the mission in the Situation Room. The president was joined by his national security team, Hegseth, Rubio, Gabbard, Ratcliffe, and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Originally, a set of B-2s flew west to Guam as a misdirection. The others continued east, each carrying bunker busters. A nuclear submarine in the Arabian Sea fired first, 24 Tomahawks that took out Iranian defense systems. Then the B-2s, flanked by F-22s, dropped 14 bunker busters onto 3 key targets. The main Iranian nuclear sites, which included the famous Fordo facility buried deep underneath a mountain. The U.S. commanders say all 14 bombs hit their targets, leaving nothing but smoking craters. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Raisin Kane, said the targets sustained severe damage and destruction. Trump said they were obliterated and were awaiting additional damage assessment. As the bombers left Iranian airspace, U.S. Navy assets fired Tomahawks to suppress anti-aircraft fire. All the pilots landed safely back in Missouri on Sunday night. The president came out at 10 o'clock Saturday and called it a success.
Remember, there are many targets left. Tonight's was the most difficult of them all, by far, and perhaps the most lethal. But if peace does not come quickly, we will go after those other targets with precision, speed, and skill. Most of them can be taken out in a matter of minutes.
The ceasefire announcement is a strong signal that the short war is winding down. Now, we still have to wait and see what happens next. Iran's nuclear program has been set back years, possibly decades. Their top scientists and generals are all assassinated. Their leaders hiding in a bunker. And they're all alone in the world without proxies or allies. It could be too expensive for the Iranians to reconstitute their nuclear program. We don't know if they have other clandestine sites or whether they snuck enriched uranium out of the mountain before the attack, but there's no doubt the regime's been significantly crippled. The Trump administration appears to have pulled off an incredible operation, and the American military, who lost a little prestige under President Biden, is back in a big way. American deterrence is back. This sends a powerful message to China, Russia, and the cartels, and gives Trump even more power over trade negotiations. Other countries see that Trump is willing to go to the extreme for what he believes. The market's up and oil prices are down. We hope any future fallout can be contained and that American armed forces remain safe and the homeland is protected.
Ceasefire. The two countries have agreed to a temporary ceasefire. Casualty. There were no American casualties in the recent airstrike. Flawless. The mission was executed with flawless precision. Creep. There is no sign of mission creep so far in the conflict. Flank. The bombers were flanked by F-22s during the operation. Wind down. The short war seems to be winding down after the ceasefire. Crippled. The airstrikes crippled Iran's nuclear capabilities.
If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date with future videos. Thank you for watching.